lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a stitched text effect in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so if we select our type tool and let's left click on the artboard, and we'll type the text stitched, and I'll just bring that up. Okay, and then what we're going to do is swap the fill and the stroke here, and we'll just zoom in a little bit more. And then with the text selected, we're going to go to the stroke palette and select dashed line. Okay, and we're going to have the dash at 10, and the gap, let's set that at 10 as well. Okay, so you can see it's starting to come together now. So let's make the gap a bit smaller. Okay, so now that's starting to look a bit more like a stitched effect. And one thing you can do is, if I zoom in so you can see, you can also change the cap to round cap. And this is just a personal preference, but sometimes it creates a more realistic stitching effect. And you can just bring the width down as well. But you can play around with those values until you're happy. But that's a really quick way to create a stitching effect. And then you can also still edit this. It's all editable, which is great. And you can keep it editable, or once you've finished, you can go to Type, Create Outlines. And then if you press Command Y on the Mac or Control Y on the PC, you'll see that it's made this text no longer editable anymore, and it is a shape. However, it doesn't replicate exactly what we see here. So one more step to do here will be to select this, go to Object, Expand, keep Fill and Stroke ticked, and click OK. And there we go. So now what we see is what our shape itself is as well. And this text is no longer editable, but you only really need to follow this step if you definitely don't want to edit your text anymore. Okay, that's how you create a stitched text effect in Adobe Illustrator. In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at the Scribble effect tool in Adobe Illustrator. Now this one's a lot of fun, and there's many different combinations you can make, and I'm just going to talk through a few of them now. Okay, so we'll start by creating a perfect circle holding Shift, and then what we're going to do is go up to Effect at the top, down to Stylize, and then where you see Scribble at the bottom. Click that, and you'll see at the moment it's selected with default, and there's many different settings here that you can adjust. And if you have the preview box ticked as well, you'll be able to see how it's going to affect your shape. Okay, so you can see by adjusting these sliders it changes your shape quite considerably depending on what you select. And there's different scribble styles as well, so if I go down to childlike, you have something that looks like this. Loose, sketch, swash, zigzag, and I'll leave you to play around with all the different effects. But you can also have this as an outline. So if I select our circle here and I hold Shift to drag horizontally and Alt to create a copy, and then I'll swap the fill and the stroke round, you'll see that it applies this effect to the stroke. So if I select this one and go to the Appearance palette on the right, you can see it's got Scribble listed, and you can click that and you'll get your options back up. And we can go in and edit these again. And the same as these shapes, you can also do it with lettering. So if I type Scribble and bring this up in size, with it selected, again go up to Effect, down to Stylize, and click Scribble at the bottom. And you'll see it applies the scribble effect again to your lettering. And the great thing about this as well is that you can apply this scribble effect to your text, and you can still edit the text as well. So if I select something that's a bit more legible, you can see here that I can go in and this text is still editable. Okay, I'll leave you to have a play around with that one because it is a lot of fun, but that is the Scribble effect tool in Adobe Illustrator.